Good evening, folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the Craft Beer Nation Friday Night Hangout, the longest regularly running weekly hangout on Google+. We don't go every week, but we go just about every week. I think we've been off for a couple of weeks slacking, but we're going to try to get this going on tonight. We're starting off with a very bare bones skeleton crew, but I expect at least one or two others will be joining shortly. So this is Jeff Davis. I'm calling in from Houston, Texas, and I see Freddie just joined. Hey, Freddie, how you doing, buddy? He's muted. James Raynon from Huntington Beach, California. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Having a good night.
Good. Right on. So before we start, folks, don't forget to check out all the awesome craft beer related Craft Beer Nation content. We got stuff on Instagram. We got stuff on Facebook, Twitter, podcasts, our Friday Night Hangouts, and our Pints and Quarts podcast on Stitcher and all your other podcast platforms. And of course, we have these hangouts, which are available on our YouTube channel. So check out all our stuff. We always looking for an excuse to drink beer and talk about beer and act foolish and all that. So that's what we're all about, learning about beer and sharing our thoughts about beer. So what you drinking tonight, James R?
So I am drinking from Toolbox Brewing Company, Das Fruit. It's a Berliner Weiss with apricots and peaches. Well, Toolbox is a pretty well known for being a sour brewery in Southern California and San Diego. I think they're probably one of the better sour focused breweries we have in Southern California. That being said, not every beer from them is a home run, but a lot of their Berliner Weisses are really darn good, and this one's actually pretty good. You can definitely taste peaches and the apricot. You get some of the upper ranges, but I want to say that the peaches really shine through with this. It's kind of like a regular Berliner Weiss, nice and a little opaque, not necessarily hazy, but a little opaque, and has a good balance to it. This one is 4.5 ABV, so a little on the upper ABV for a Berliner Weiss, but obviously not exactly a super high ABV in general. So, but yeah, it's good. I like it quite a bit, actually.
Super refreshing. Typically, you get a good Berliner Weiss. I mean, it's just goes down like like a Red Bull or something. I mean, it's super.
Yeah, actually, you know what? You're right. It does very much taste like an energy drink. I actually love Berliner Weisses for when everybody else is drinking, Bud Light, throughout the day. That's usually what I go to because it's lower ABV and it's kind of refreshing. So
yeah, yep.
I'm a big fan of Berliner Weisses.
Well, and you said even a lot of breweries nowadays are sour or wild beer focused, and even the best of the best. Not everything's going to be a homer, because the guys tend to be a little more on the experimental side. So, but they throw it out there and they try it, but not everything's going to be 5-star beer probably.
Yeah, agreed.
Right on. Frio, what you drinking, homie?
Caught me in the middle of my first sip. This is actually from the man, the myth, the legend himself here, James R. This is let me see, what the hell is it called? Raider Bob, is that the name of the beer? Raider Bob?
Yeah. Raider Bob.
Yep, Raider Bob Double IPA. That's from Rip Beer Company. It's a double IPA brewed with love from Huntington Beach, California. 8.5% ABV, 100 IBU.
That's James's Friday alternate office where he's always checking in, making it look like he's got his laptop fired up, but it's not even plugged in.
I can say that literally 30 minutes ago I was there.
Nice.
So yeah, it looks like it's brewed in memory of someone. Maybe I'm not sure if the guy worked there, if he was a frequent
the owner's father.
Customer. Oh, okay. Yeah. So does it have to do with like a Raiders fan at all? Is that what it is? Like
Yeah, he was a huge Raiders fan.
Yeah, I see the skull and bones and stuff. So I'm thinking about it. It must be what it is. Yeah. Let me just get a few more sips here. I like these change of pace for me. It's dry. It's got that West Coast dankness. This is pretty damn dank. Like almost like I don't know. Do you know what is there Simcoe in this?
There's a little bit of Simcoe, but the prominent one is Mosaic.
Mosaic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I get that like that Simcoe like dank kind of like you say a cat pee-ish type of thing, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're real big onto dankiness. I mean,
yeah.
Rip is named after trying to take a big rip off of a bong, and they want that danky weed kind of thing. And
for sure,
so,
yeah, you get like some citrus characters in there in the beginning, but I think that kind of mellows out, dries out, and then you get this like just a big bomb of like piney dankness. But actually, it's funny that it's like really it's kind of dry in the finish, but it's I mean it's 8.5%, but it's fairly easy drinking.
Yep. That's usually why that's one of the ones I usually choose if I'm there. If they have it on tap, I usually drink that one.
Is that a normal runner for them, James?
It's semi-normal. It's not their flagship that they brew all the time, but it's definitely there often enough.
Yeah. Cool.
But the one that broke in shipment, which is the Dan K, which is DAN-K, kind of their tongue-in-cheek dank.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one that broke in shipment, apparently.
Yeah.
That's the one that's there always on. Although that will
allegedly shipped beer. Allegedly.
He said he told me before he joined he just put a bunch of broken glass in there, and a label. So was did the box was crushed, Freddie, or a corner crushed?
No, I think the way it looked to me was just that one bottle was like on the edge of the edge of the box, and it was bubble wrapped itself too. It just got smashed, but thankfully like he put everything in a trash bag, so it was contained. Like the box was, you had never known it was just contained to the thing. So I
wasn't as careful with that shipment as I usually am. I think I probably rushed it a little too much trying to get it all work together. So.
Oh, it's all good, man. It happens.
See, because that's what I'm always, you try to be so careful, but then sometimes you're like, man, it's taking me 90 minutes to wrap this thing up. So, I mean, I don't usually do the secondary bag anymore. I used to, but so it's a good thing that the garbage bag was on this one, huh, Freddie?
Usually I don't, but for some reason with these two shipments to Freddie and Randy, I decided to. I don't know why. Usually I don't. Usually either I use shippers or I just don't double bag it or anything. But for some reason I did. I think it was subconscious because when Freddie sent me his shipment, he put them in Ziploc bags. So I was like, oh, I should probably try to contain it in case something happens. So
you did individually, Freddie, individually in Ziploc bags?
No, he did like freezer bags. The 16 ounces you can get like 16 ounces in a freezer bag. Excuse me.
But don't you feel like cans are easier to ship, anyway?
100%, yeah. That's why I think I feel a little more comfortable putting them in a Ziploc bag like that, a freezer bag.
Yeah.
Even when they get tossed around, they're just sealed a lot better. I think it's easy for a cap to get loose on a bottle. You really kind of don't think about that too much, or just hit on the right spot. Boom, cracks open.
Yeah, I had one that I was shipped it to Gil, and this would be like I think 2 Christmases ago, and it was when that like wicked ice storm was in like December, and the box, like I guess it sat on his patio, his porch. He got stranded. He couldn't get home or something, so he was away from his house for like 3 days, and it was like 20 below, and one of the bottles just exploded. Yeah.
I had that last year. Someone shipped me some stuff from Connecticut, which is just a day. It took a day.
Yeah.
On UPS, next day delivery. Via ground, and I mean not UPS, but something else. That'd be illegal. And within hours, I got home, opened the box, took out the cans, and gave him one of these shakes, and I'm like, oh, It sounds like a slush in there.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it can happen quick, man. If it's the right temperature.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Still crushed them. What are you drinking?
Jeff, I need to send you a shipment as well sometime
Yeah,
soon.
we can do that, man. So, Freddie, you know, I'm starting off with an old standby. I was telling James just before we got on. So
There you go.
it's
Yellow
yeah,
Rose.
Yellow Rose. It was bottled on Monday. So they've gone to this thing where they don't make the 750s anymore. They just do these 500s, and you get a 4-pack of 500s for $12.49, which is pretty awesome. You know, 2 liters of good beer for $12.50. You know, so not too bad. And they, you know, I was telling James, at least in the Houston market, you can see there it says 11.7. You know, they bottle on Monday. They take them around to the stores on Tuesday, and usually by Wednesday, most of the places are sold out. You know, but you know, we're finally getting kind of that really fresh mentality for some of our brewers, like you guys have up there, Freddie. You know, and out on the West Coast too. So.
Yeah, that beer must be a killer fresh.
Yeah, when you know, and the thing that I always notice is when you pop one or when they just pull it off a keg when it's fresh, the nose is just insane. You know, it's just pure mosaic, and you know, there's a lot of hype about this beer. Probably a little bit too much. You know, but for Texas, it's awesome, and it's, you know, it's not. There's nothing. I don't know, nothing crazy about it. You know, it's just a solid beer with a solid smash with a very, to me, it just has a really bright kind of aroma and flavor profile. So it's just, you know, super, super easy drinking and super, you know, super dependable. So
that's all you need, man. That's all it's about.
Exactly. Now that one of my go-tos here, Karbach, sold out to the man. So I'm having to reprofile my cooler upstairs, you know.
Yep.
It's funny because the backlash has been pretty severe. One of the, like, probably the premier craft beer place in town, this place called the Hay Merchant, which is a really solid, you know, beer bar. They you know, they got connections with everybody, so they're always getting crazy kegs and casks. The day after the announcement, they instantly said, every Karbach keg we have, it's all going on sale tomorrow, $1 a pint, anything. And this is, you know, some of the stuff is like, you know, barrel-aged quads and stuff. And I mean, their whole idea was to sell all that crap within like 24 hours, and they basically did, you know. So
hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
hey, man,
interesting.
The consumer, they speak, man. You know?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
You know, I'm not, you know, I don't know, I'm not as philosophically against it like a lot of people, you know, as long as if they don't change anything. But I'm just seeing it already where, you know, you walk in every airport and you walk up to it and it looks like a craft beer, you know, place with like 20 taps, and then you go through them and every one of them's InBev, you know. So it's
sure.
Didn't you post a Golden Road to the oh no, that might have been Doug. Somebody posted a stack of Golden Road's gingerbread stout.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know, that's what happens when you get bought out by InBev. They just
like
they're everywhere.
People want to go with the dollar, so that's what it comes to.
Yeah.
I'm mad. Yeah,
I mean, you know, power to the founders. I mean, everybody wants an exit, you know, but just don't think that the love is going to stick around for the brand anymore, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was interesting seeing the repercussions of them buying out Northern Brewer.
I know. Yeah.
And you know, I am in that kind of, you know, camp that doesn't want to support InBev stuff. But I was actually surprised at how many people were just militant about it. And again, I'm part of that group, but I was actually surprised that others felt the same way, and that much of them. So interesting.
So you guys weren't like having demonstrations out in the street, like up in Portland for Trump and stuff, flipping cars over and everything.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. On Wednesday night, I did go up to LA and I did demonstrate. It was peaceful, at least where I'm at.
Yeah,
it was peaceful, but yeah, I actually did go.
So for InBev, what's the best, you know, kind of like what's the best brewery that they've bought? I'm trying to go through the list because most of the ones they bought were kind of second rate anyway, right? I mean,
There's a lot that I haven't had their
Yeah.
stuff. I wouldn't be able to say that.
I would only assume their best, maybe not the best brewery, but the best beer. It's got to be like the Bourbon County stuff, I guess.
yeah, 'cause,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I would
I mean,
think.
Golden Road. I was pretty upset with Golden Road because I actually like their stuff quite a bit. But it's definitely a West Coast style beer, so I don't think that would appeal to a lot of people on the East Coast or Midwest as much. So I wouldn't say that they're one of the better ones.
Have you tried any of their beers since the takeover, James? Or has anybody said that there's any difference or anything?
Probably not, because I don't know if they've actually moved anything off into contract brew or onto their other breweries, but not that I'm aware of. Yeah, I don't know yet. I also kind of turned off to it. Like I don't really listen to or look for it. I know that they're at all the beer festivals that I've gone to. I just haven't tried it. And, there's so many other ones that are coming up now that I just it's not a big deal to me anymore.
Yep.
I mean, I get it in terms of distribution, and expanding distribution, but when you start also consolidating the purchasing of raw materials, and they try to convince them to switch to different hops or use adjuncts or something. I mean, I don't know.
As a business, I totally get it on both sides. Hey, if I was the brewery that got bought out, I got money, and I get exposure and distribution on the InBev side. I get it. You can get more money, get more exposure, tap into the craft beer thing. I understand, consolidating operations and like you're saying, buying materials and whatnot, ingredients. I totally get it. I really do.
It's a hard thing if you think about it, though. Like, if you're, let's say, a brewer, owner of a brewery, craft brewery, and you're offered X amount of money from these big boys that they can produce that kind of check, and you love your beer, but you can also help your family and, the future kind of just, seal that up. And knowing how InBev is after and all the crap they still talk about craft beer, and you're being a craft beer like enthusiast lover, you're a brewer, or you're owner, that's a tough call, I think. I mean, like you said, everyone wants a get out, an exit plan, but also on the other side, still it's like their passion. So it's like that's a tough decision. I mean, I wouldn't turn down a Ballast Point kind of offer, obviously, but I think from these guys who came up from nothing and they've worked hard, I guess I understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so I'm going to contain this to Golden Road. This is not everybody else, but so for months before Golden Road, actually about a year before they bought out, I used to hear local craft brewers, even nationally ones. You know where I'm at, so I'm not going to name names to get them in trouble. But I would get a little bit of the attitude, and I would understand. Like it's clear that they didn't like when I would say Meg Whitman, or not Meg Whitman. I can't remember her name. Meg Gill, one of the co-owners of Golden Road. And I thought at the time, just because I didn't have the in on the industry, the local industry, I thought they were just jealous because they were starting to rise for an LA brewer. But it turns to find out that she was about the money, and her goal was to sell out and get more money, and I get that. But then you talk to Victor Novak, who is their lead brewer, and who kind of piloted the Anaheim expansion next to the Angel Stadium. That's his baby and his pet project. And talking to him, and he was like, it's really upsetting to see craft beer fans who won't give him a chance anymore just because of the sale. And he feels that his beer is still as good, if not better, than before. And I totally get that. And I remember talking to him about it, and I was like, hey, I'm sure you understand this, but from my perspective and many others, it's about what that money is being used for, how that's pushing out other, local craft brewers and kind of pay for play type stuff and whatnot. And like, it was interesting. He got it. he got it on the the sellout side, but he was disappointed. I got his side from the if I was the brewer and got the money side, and yet still having to be the brewer who believes in craft beer but has to support his company. And it was just seeing the both of us kind of like bummed, but understanding each other. It was very interesting.
Yeah, well, the thing is I don't know this Meg, but I mean, she probably wasn't. She wasn't a brewer, right? She was sort of a bit business owner. So, who's the guy? Novak. Who's the guy you were talking about? The brewer.
Victor Novak's the brewer.
So Victor, whether or not he got to cash it all on this thing or not, I'm sure he probably did. Some, but not near as much as Meg. But he probably inherited a 2-year non-compete, as part of the transaction, that he had to stick around, so at least for some period of time, he's, he can't go do his own thing. Probably, I'm guessing, if he's a key part of the success proposition for the company, I'm looking at, so it's Goose Island, Blue Point, 10 Barrel, Elysian, Golden Road, Breckenridge, Four Peaks, Devil's Backbone, so they're all, I mean, I would say the ones I know, Goose Island and Golden Road are, kind of the top level, and the rest are all kind of meh anyway, to a certain extent.
I think Devil's Backbone is kind of meh. I know Elysian had that. I'm not too familiar with. I know 10 Barrel, but I never really had any of their brews though. But
I liked Elysian when I was up in Seattle, but they don't have the distribution for me to really know like their stuff.
Yeah, I think I had like one beer from them sent to me before. Yeah. But that's what I was saying. Like, it's got to be like Goose Island, and then obviously their barrel program is probably their biggest by far. I mean,
somebody was saying in one of the other a few weeks ago that that they noticed a big difference in honkers and Goose Island.
Me and Randy were talking about it because that's the word on the interwebs is people. That's one of the first things people started noticing is that honkers ale and was it 312 and stuff like that started changing.
I mean, sometimes you're in an airport, and literally that's the closest thing they have on tap to craft, and you try it and it's like, man, this is pretty average IPA. I can't remember if it used to be better, but it's pretty average right now.
My company did a happy hour for because most of the company, if they're into hockey, they're into the Ducks, and we went to a Buffalo Wild Wings, and the extent of their craft was pretty much Samuel Adams Rebel X or Rebel IPA.
They're improving over here. I have one really damn close to me. Yeah, they've got like a decent amount of stuff. I mean, not like crazy, but good picks. I guess solid picks. You wouldn't be disappointed. I suppose.
The only two that were close to craft for me was the Rebel IPA from Sam Adams and the Honkers from Goose Island, and I was like, this really isn't much, but maybe it's a location by location type of thing.
It's totally franchise, because those are franchises, and it's by location, and it's also sort of by the market. So I think it's based on the clientele. I mean, if the guy knows that he has people coming in that want good beers, I mean, he can shift his taps around. It's not like they have a corporate program for sure.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because I was thinking about that the other day, and obviously there's many different craft beer bastions. There's different areas that everybody loves, but it's interesting that Southern California, especially San Diego, is known for craft beer or at least West Coast style, ales. And yet there's still so many bro douchey, establishments that are Bud Light driven, Coors Light driven. And it's just interesting seeing, amongst craft beer, there's certain areas, and San Diego is one of them. Maybe not the best. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's definitely a recognized area. But then there's still a ton of people who just drink the macro type beers, which, hey, if you're into it, that's fine. But it's interesting seeing it becomes like two worlds.
Yeah, and I think it's the same everywhere, James. Even obviously in places which are more rural, where there isn't really any local craft, but in even in the craft specialist markets, I mean, big beers still move the most volume, and the CM, the margin that a bar gets for a pint of Bud Light it's not like that's a lot less than what they're going to get from selling a good beer, and I think with volume, so. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense for those guys to have those if that's part of their clientele.
Yeah, for sure.
I go to Buffalo Wild Wings for lunch almost every Friday when I'm in town. I'm kind of in a rut. So one day when I'm in the office, when I will have a beer with lunch, and it's one of those ones. They have like 25 taps, and most of them are mass market.
One day.
Except for they have a few Carbox. They have Lagunitas IPA. They got Sierra Nevada. So they probably have 4 or 5 taps that you would consider craft. But then, they also get these, somehow they get these weird, super limited Bishop's Barrel series, from St. Arnold's, and these things are super coveted, and, you can't get them anywhere. But these guys get a couple cases of every one, and it's just me and this one other guy that drinks there that know about them. So when they get them, I mean, they're there for like 6 weeks for us, and so it's just crazy,
Can't be mad at that.
Yeah. So I always, and they keep them in the back for us. I say, you still got the Bishop's Barrel 13. Yeah. I got you, Jeff.
Well, what'd you crack open?
It was, I don't know if you heard it. It was,
I saw your reaction.
Well, it was cork and cage, and I started, I was sitting there, I was watching the screen, and I was undoing the cage, and then thing started rising up. I'm like, oh, gonna be a gusher. Seems like half the beers I open in this room, end up being tremendous gushers. So I had to make sure I have my glass. So it's I love this beer so hard. This is the Golden Drac 9000. So this is a super unique beer, obviously a Belgian beer. It's technically, they call it a quad. It's really it's nothing like any quad you've ever had. It's kind of really ruby amber, and the flavor is super delicious, but it's a lot more fruity. It's not nutty and malty and mellow. It's almost like to me, it's more like a Belgian strong pale ale that's aged in wine barrels or something like that. You get a lot of really vinous notes, grapes, but white fruit. It's a great beer. That's super, super delicious. It's it's 10.7%, but it's if you ever, the regular Golden Drac, but the Golden Drac 9000 especially is really, really great beer, and pretty easy to find. I mean, any place that has Belgian beers will have this stuff. So yeah. You've had it before, right, Freddie? Freddie's getting his other one too. So okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I just opened up from Vale Personable Spice. This is actually one that Freddie sent me, and just opening it, man, it's got some. It has like a floral but piney nose to it, so I'm curious as to. I gotta look this up now and find out what's in. Have you had anything from Vale?
I have not. I see all the guys on Friday night with their, master, shredder, father, mother, but I've never had anything from those guys,
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Personable, huh? Personable what? Trainer? What's it called?
Personable Spice, but it's like with V.
Yeah.
The Spice from Vale. Okay. Untapped.
Imperial IPA.
Yeah.
Galaxy Double IPA. Straight up pineapple.
Oh, no wonder why I love that smell. The Galaxy. Oh, that smell. Oh yeah, it definitely has that Galaxy pineapple. So it doesn't have like the bitterness that a West Coast style will have. Like, so for me, Galaxy, the Galaxies that I've had have been almost all West Coast style, where it definitely has that tropical pineapple flavor to it, but there's still a little bitterness. This is nice and smooth. Freddie, I just opened up the Veil, the tropical spice. Man, the nose on it is amazing, and it's smooth. I was just saying that the Galaxy West Coast style IPAs that I had still has a little bit of bitterness, or a lot of times. This one is smooth.
I know the head brewer there. He spent some time at Hill Farmstead.
Okay.
And Cantillon as well.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, yeah. He's been in a few different places before he landed and he started up Vail.
I can't say, like, I'm not gonna say it's like, juicy smooth.
Yeah.
But for this, like, compared to West Coast, this is smooth as heck.
Yeah, for sure.
8.5 ABV. So, man, that's really good. Thank you, Freddie. This is
Absolutely.
This is great. All the ones that you sent me so far have been amazing. I've had 3 of the whatchamacallits, Trilliums.
Yep.
There's one that I didn't post.
Jeffrey, did you get? I was trying to talk to you on the side and you didn't answer, but did you get the?
I didn't yet, man. So I figure it's on the way, but I figured it'd probably be in my office when I got back in today, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
it
should have. I'll check the while you guys talk. I'll check because it's 2-day shipping, so it should have got there.
No worries. Yeah, usually your stuff gets here super quick from Boston. So
yeah.
Jeffrey, later on, you need to send me an address to send stuff.
Yeah, right on, man. Let's do it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to crack another one open, but keep talking.
So, Freddie, you've had a lot of Vails or just some?
I've had a good amount.
Yeah.
I've had a good amount.
So where do you weigh in and comparing those to Aslan and to your Trilliums and your Treehouse and stuff?
Vail's unique, I guess, in the sense that let's say because they do kettle sour beers, they do like kettle sour IPAs, they do some stouts. I mean, so does Aslan, I guess. You know what I mean? But I feel like Vail is kind of daring in what they're doing in certain things they can, their releases, the things they try. They're kind of a little bit out there and they're fun.
Are they fun successful or just a fun hit or miss?
I think I would say it's more hit than miss.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be honest with you because like the people are gonna miss the Trillium and Monkish collaboration. I think I have the can here somewhere. Oh, right here. Oh, it's a little crushed. Let me fix it, but it was called Never and Again. You can see the Monkish right there, and the Trillium. This beer, I'm sorry, was terrible. And I mean this with all due respect to both, because both are killer breweries, and that's what was most shocking, I think, to everyone that got that beer was how it was just hard to drink.
Yeah.
Like if you that was canned 9/22. I opened it yesterday and it was so harsh still. Like I took a shot of rum, like burning like that on the way down.
What's the stout, Freddie?
That was a double IPA, I think, aged. I want to say aged on mangoes aged on mangoes. And I think the mangoes were maybe like really, really underripe. It gives us like really, and this is an ongoing thing. I've noticed too is like just keep eating. I don't know. I want to say keep mangoes, but keep the fruit. I guess out of IPAs.
Yeah.
Because it's I don't know. Sometimes it's okay, but for the most part, it's kind of like I don't know. It just doesn't really work too much. From my thing, it's like it just kind of detracts. It makes things almost taste too sweet. I guess maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think if they're actually aging it on the fruit, in the fermentation. I mean, there's some like secondary reactions that can kind of go on there that maybe aren't totally controllable, so I think it gets down to like how long the stuff is in there and how, like you said, how ripe was the fruit when they put it in there.
Yeah. Plus they really hopped the hell out of that beer, I guess. I forget the exact amount, but it was something ridiculous. It just didn't work, and they're too, literally Monkish is really, really good. I mean, I've had a lot of beer from there lately, and they've been so money, like awesome, and Trillium awesome, and that beer, you would think it was an epic fail.
Jeff, can
it was hard to
you
drink,
get
man.
Monkish out there?
No, I've never seen it here. I don't know what their distribution footprint is.
And that's definitely, I'm going to be heavy on that because I know you like Belgians, and they're very much Belgian style brewery.
Works for me, brother. Works for
I'll
me.
definitely get stuff. But kind of getting back to Freddie's thing, like I don't often see collabs that I get really disappointed in, but when that does happen, man, the disappointment is just so much there. For me, I think of the brewery in Smog City. They did something called Atomic Kangaroo, which was a Belgian style golden. Which maybe that's why, because I'm not a huge Belgian guy, but I know a lot of people who didn't like it. But they did it with like a grape must or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say I hated it, but I definitely didn't like it. And I know a lot of people who didn't like it either. And it's a bummer because, for Southern California, those are two really good breweries, and to have a collaboration like that and just be so disappointed.
I like fruited sours. Like I wouldn't stop doing that, but like anything, it's that, I guess, and IPAs, like you said, like some certain styles of some Belgian beers. Like I just feel like it's like they clash. I mean, I think for instance, look at it was a while ago, but Ballast Point, they did the was it Watermelon El Dorado?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I thought it was terrible because I think watermelon is such a light, kind of flavor, and it just fought with the aggressiveness, the hops aggressiveness of the I can't even talk today. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna skip. I forgot the name of it. All of a sudden, it was El Dorado.
El Dorado, that's their double IPA, right? So
it just clashed. I mean, the watermelon that clashed, and they're just fighting to be like a front, and that beer just seemed like so messy.
Oh yeah, when I had it,
watermelon goes in a Goza or in a wheat beer,
exactly. Something where it's not going to be overpowered. It's such a light,
or even a Berliner Weiss.
Absolutely.
Which falls into that wheat beer thing, but like Four Hands did a watermelon Berliner Weiss. We don't get Four Hands out here, but they do come out for Stone's anniversaries. Excuse me, and they're I think it's called the King of Prussia, which is their watermelon Berliner Weiss.
Have you had other stuff from Four Hands? Like their stouts or stuff like that?
I had one of their milk stouts, which is actually really good. It was a barrel-aged milk stout that was really good. But other than that, I haven't used it.
Actually, I just got two of them from those guys. I'm not sure. I think I don't know if I know it's obviously a stout. I don't know if it's a milk stout. But anyway, I just opened up my second beer. So.
Yeah, what do you got going on, Fred?
I'm drinking. This is a beer I like a lot, man. Maybe was it Madagascar, James?
That sounds really familiar.
That's their barrel aged milk stout. That's what I think
that does sound really familiar.
It's like with whole Madagascar vanilla beans.
Yes, and I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I hear that beer's killer. But anyway, this is like look out. You can see. Look at this. Look at this bottle, guys. This is not an illusion. Okay. Anyway, this is Stillwater. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Stillwater.
Yeah, I know those guys.
Yeah. And this is their collaboration with this brewery from Sweden. I don't know if it's Duggies or Duggies or Duggies.
Okay.
Whatever. Anyway, this is their Tropical Sunrise. This is the Swedish sour ale brewed with mangoes, raspberries, and pineapple. Interesting that we were talking about fruits and stuff because, again, I got some of the sours. This thing is $5. Now $5 isn't much, but if you look at the amount of beer you're getting,
sour, that's cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we look at the size of the bottle, though. I mean, it's pretty.
For a 330 milliliter,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep. This was such a surprise when I had the first time. It is so good. I mean, they hit it. It's perfect. It's tart. I mean, this beer, I love it. It literally smells like pineapple juice with like just like dabble in like with like raspberries.
Hmm.
I'm telling you, it smells like juice, man. It smells like juice, and it's just really tart.
So is it puckeringly tart, Freddie? I mean,
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, how can I'm trying to explain. Let me see if I can give you the. It's like a Berliner, a Berliner Weiss.
yep.
Maybe not as tart as a Berliner Weiss, or like that not as salty as a Goza, not as tart as a Berliner Weiss. But it's there. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
not like puckering tart, but it's tart enough it gets your attention. But then it's like the literally the flavors of pineapple, the raspberry. I don't get too much mango in it, and I wonder sometimes maybe the mango was there just to kind of bring down maybe the pineapple. I'm not sure, because the pineapple can be so acidic. It could be a strong flavor, but it's like done so well, man. Like, this beer's killer good. I'm telling you.
Do you know, Freddie? Because I almost want to say that beer is like a collab that there's like a U.S. version and a Swedish version. Is that definitely the one you're drinking is definitely brewed in Sweden though?
It says brewed and bottled. Yep.
So it's called Tropical Sunrise?
Yep. It says brewed and bottled by them in Sweden, imported by 12% Brooklyn, New York.
Yep.
Water, malted barley, mango, raspberry, pineapple, and lactobacillus.
Yeah, I think Stillwater is, maybe a little bit under the radar. A lot of people who aren't on the East Coast don't know of them, but they're excellent, make excellent wild ales.
We got a good amount of Stillwater actually in Boston.
Yep.
They're,
Is Stillwater, Florida?
No, they're in, I want to say Maryland or Delaware. Where are they?
Let me look it up.
Yeah, Baltimore. I think from Baltimore or something.
well, that's
Okay.
east.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they got like that, that Prohibition Ale. They got a lot of killer saisons. They did, they did the collab with Westbrook on the Goza Gone Wild.
Yeah, I always hear about them, but we don't get. Definitely Baltimore. But yeah, we don't get distribution here.
This is a killer little beer.
They did, they've done a lot of good collabs. They did a collab with Jester King called Audio Palette, which was really good. So yeah, they're pretty legitimate.
Yeah, they have. I think they did. They had 3 of them with Stillwater. It was this one. There's another one. There was another one that literally looked like, the candies, like the Swedish fish candies. The label was yellow with like little blue diamonds, and then it had like a little fish, like a goldfish that was cut out, and the beer inside was red, so it looked like a Swedish fish. It was pretty interesting. But,
That's definitely a unique bottle. I haven't seen a green bottle in a long time.
yeah. I mean, this beer, if I can get some more of it, man, I got lucky enough they had them at my bottle shop, but I can send some to you guys because it's just so enjoyable, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's it's weird because sometimes random stuff like that just sort of shows up, and most people have no clue what it is. So they're going to read it, but they're probably not going to buy it. But for the guy that's crazy enough to buy it once and say, "Damn, this is good," I mean, you got to stock up on that stuff, man.
I'm telling you, the pineapple and like the raspberry is done so right. It's crazy. It's really crazy, dude. This is such a refreshing little beer.
Yeah. But back to like one topic that we've sort of been alluding to, how a lot, especially these, the guys that are doing wild beers, spontaneous fermentation, sours, how, they make a lot of great beers, but then they also make beers that, aren't epic, but I think that shows that they're trying to innovate, I mean, guys that are just making IPAs and changing the hop out. I mean, how badly can you screw that up, But these guys that are trying all kinds of weird, variants and stuff like that, it's, you're going to have a different hit ratio, but that shows the innovativeness of the brewer.
That's something I actually literally had a conversation with the brewer from Rip about an hour and a half ago. We were talking, I was like, I'm getting to the point where I was like, I love Rip. You guys are local. You guys are always treating me well. I was like, but with all the breweries that are opening up in Orange County, California, I was like, last weekend I went to 3 different ones, and yeah, one of them was kind of crappy, but they're doing different things, and it was interesting hearing him, who, like most brewers, want to explore, but then you have owners or directors of whatever, operations directors, they want to brew things that sell. And so Rip is known for being a very danky IPA driven brewery or tap room. I almost don't want to call them a brewery because it's such a tiny tap room. But yeah, seeing him wanting to explore and get creative, and they only give him a short leash to kind of brew things that he really wants to explore, and seeing him try to come up with different recipes. Like he won't even say that he's trying to innovate IPAs, because he kind of feels like it's really hard unless you want to do a completely different style, like a New England style IPA. That's where you can innovate. But as of right now, West Coast style, it's hard to innovate when it comes to West Coast style IPAs. So yeah, it's really interesting seeing people trying to explore things versus you have people who are on the business side that just want to produce things that sell and what they're known for.
Yeah, it's got to be a mix, though, I think, and it's got to be
for sure.
It's got to be fun for the people that are doing it as well. I think, at least for me, I think if I was in that position.
Yeah.
Well, I think most breweries, they have their lineup that they're known for, but typically they got a test system that they're running pilot batches on, and that's always fun. And a lot of that stuff ends up being good and successul, and those things evolve into being, production beers, a few months later.
I think that's where the harmony of the business side versus the brewing / creative side comes in. I think that's where Rip, I'm just a customer that maybe a little bit, more dedicated than some people. And so trying to tell the owners, like, hey, man, you got to let your brewer, spread his wings a little bit. Obviously, brew your core stuff. And I think it's partially why, they're brewing on a 3-barrel system, so they're tiny.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so once they expand, they have the opportunity to say, okay, you can do your cores and then do all your pilots. So hopefully that comes up. But
how close are they to you?
About 3/4 of a mile.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he can crawl. That's why he goes there every Friday.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I wish it was just every Friday. It's usually
every day. Then sorry, I was, I thought maybe your boss is watching this, so I was, trying to help you out, James.
So my boss actually lives about a mile from me, and he knows.
Okay.
Yeah.
He knows I'm there all the time too.
But I think what's critical, James, is the brewer can be telling the the owner or the ops manager, yeah, you need to give me some leash to stretch out, but he may or may not care. But if you have enough customers that are paying, that are buying stuff there that says, hey, we'd love to see, our guy have the chance to try some stuff on a test batch system, that's probably going to have more influence than the employee himself,
I think the just like any small company or small brewer or company, the owners are more worried about profit, and they see that, they're Dan K, they're Raider Bob, or they're now Super Cali, silver medal thing. They just want to get profit, or not profit, but they just want to sell what people are talking about.
Yep.
He's not thinking about, hey, what's the next step? What can we explore, and what can we get known for versus just what's right now in your face? Yeah. Because it is a small brewery, and because they're investing so much money to expand right now, they're moving to a 10-barrel system with six fermenters. So I think it's just a product of time, and the brewer is the owner. The two owners are homebrew veterans, and so they haven't been in the actual brewery business. So whereas some of the new breweries in Orange County, I don't know how it is for the rest of the country, but in Orange County, a lot of the new breweries are people who have been in the business from experienced markets or experienced companies like BJ's Brewery, which still baffles me. I don't know how. I think BJ's is starting to expand. I think they're in Texas, but BJ's Pizzeria / brewery. It's
Yeah, we have those here. They don't make their beers. Their beers are brewed by St. Arnold in this market. I don't know about out there, but they don't.
So,
they don't make any
that's
beer.
even worse to me. That explains my purpose even worse. Like, it baffles me because in Southern California, at least, every BJ's location is a microbrewery, and the beer that they sell. Well, actually, you might be right. Maybe it is contract, and maybe that brewery is just for show.
Trust,
Maybe.
take it. Go look at it next time. They all have the same copper kettles, but there's no power to them. There's never anybody touching them.
I've seen people actually brew on those systems.
Okay. Yeah, yours is different than mine. Yeah.
That being said, maybe the stuff that they're serving, maybe they're just doing it for show. Who knows?
Yeah.
But my point is, the guy from Smog City came from BJ's. The guy from Tustin Brewing was from BJ's, and a couple other people were from BJ's. And some of these good brewers are coming from that program, and which baffles me. But hey, whatever, it works. But those people have been in production; they know what it is to actually brew. From Rip, I love them very much. They're really cool people. They're great about brewing, but there are homebrewers who went from homebrew straight to brewery, so they don't really know the business side of it, really.
Yep.
So, anyways, long story short, I'm interested to see different people's take on how to run a brewery and getting pilot batches out and testing.
It's funny, because you can tell, especially over here, I guess in Massachusetts, since everyone's always the big thing always is oh, you guys are lucky because all these IPAs and if you guys lagers, it's like Jack's Abbeys are one of the best for US and et cetera, et cetera. But then you go to these breweries rather, and you talk to people there, and you realize and you learn that's one of the things I like about Trillium. Not only are they pretty close to me, they're good people, but they produce obviously world-class beer. However, everyone knows Trillium because of their IPAs, and I keep saying that. It's JC is they're a farmhouse brewery. They just canned their first saison because they've never canned a saison until this week. It's called Citra. I just have it here. It's called Free Rise. It's a Citra dry hop saison, and they have their own house yeast. And now JC is I want to say his background is in botanical chemistry, and then he became a home brewer and stuff. So he's big. It's the yeast strains and full nerd mode. But that's his thing. He's pushing all the success he's had in their stouts and their collaborations and their IPAs. It's just pushing because he's literally opening up an entire section far away from all these where he can house his IPAs. It's time to it's time to get the wild ales going for him close to home.
So a totally separate, dedicated system, right, Freddie?
Yeah. Yep. He's gonna do it like that and house separately, all types of stuff. If they're gonna be in barrels, they're gonna be barrels by themselves, So.
Yeah, Smoke said he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, he's going full steam.
Yeah.
And Treehouse, they're opening this huge brewery that's going to be open next year, and they're going to leave their current location just for their barrel program and their wild ales. They're going to go into wild ales as well, so that's pretty cool. For these guys who are known for this and that's what they like and that's what they're pushing towards, and they're kind of releasing their thin beer little by little. Treehouse has this it's called Native, so they have their native yeast strain, and it's called Native 1, Native 2 for every batch. It just goes up, and they've been bottling, releasing it little by little, and people are starting to love it. And I think it's cool. I guess because maybe we're not just typical craft. Obviously, well, for a fact, we're not typical craft beer drinkers. We're more like enthusiasts. So we care about those little
Addicts.
things. Yeah. For us, it's cooler for us because we're like, oh man, look at that. Now you can get world-class IPA and a world-class like Saison or, hopefully, right?
Well, I think it's good because, hey, the markets move. I mean, these markets are fickle. These East Coast IPAs didn't exist 18 months ago, and they won't be all the rage 2-3 years from now. So, I mean, you got to be.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's the thing. It existed. It just didn't exist in the market yet. Like it didn't catch wind because they grew like that for a while. The Alchemist and Farmstead guys, and other people did it, but it just didn't catch wind.
So I hope Rip kind of gets it, and hey, they got a cash flow because they got to pay for their 3-barrel system and fund their down payment on the 10-barrel system, but they also got to be innovating for the next wave and the next wave.
Well, they did get investors after the silver medal, and it's already paid off on the 10-barrel and the other expansion. So, what's interesting is hearing, pretty much all the Trillium that I know is actually from you guys when you guys talk about it. And it's interesting to hear because I feel like that's how Monkish is. And it's interesting because Monkish, before the New England style stuff happened, they weren't really known. I mean, they were known for having, interesting Belgians. Like their claim to fame was I think it's called the Feminist, which is a hibiscus Belgian beer. But before that, before all the New England style IPAs, they were almost, unknown. Yeah. But then now, as soon as they started doing the New England style IPAs, I mean, they just blew the F up. And I feel like, when you describe Trillium, it's kind of the same way. Like they're known, their core mission was farmhouse and Belgian style stuff.
Yeah.
But they are known for their New England style IPAs now. Yeah. So it's interesting.
And Monkish is like, from what I'm hearing from all the guys I know in California, just like it's a process to get in line and get those beers in Monkish, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think I told you, part of it is the bias of the whole, old school thought. But then I see pictures of people I know on Instagram from the area, and 6 a.m. and you're already seeing a block line, and I'm just like, fuck, I don't even want to try that because it's just too much of a pain, and I'm not a big fan of lines anymore.
I heard the bottle shares are pretty good in line though. Rumors are.
And I do want to go because that's the aspect I like. I mean, because when I went to Dark Lord, it was probably the biggest bottle share I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Technically, it's illegal here, especially so. Bottle Logic,
because it's open container, or
open container in public.
Let me correct myself. Allegedly.
No. It's well recognized that it happens, and it's usually so early in the morning that cops don't really care because people line up at like 5 a.m. But like Bottle Logic release before they moved to the online thing, that was the complaint because we're lining up at 10 a.m. and it's already 100+ degrees, and
let's talk about that. Let's talk about online releases now that are more of a headache for the consumer than ever, I think.
Why do you say that, Freddie?
Because I'm not like, was it AleSmith recently? They had a huge release, I think, for
Vietnamese and the
Vietnamese, like the mocha coffee.
Yeah.
And then, barrel-aged Vietnamese and mocha coffee. Then they had there was another one that fumbled the big time. Westbrook. Westbrook was just, again, it's just too many people getting.
Or Lost Appy DuckDuckGo.
Yep. Same thing happened to Bottle Logic. One of the releases, like this, like brown paper tickets or Eventbrite stuff, man. It's just
Eventbrite, yeah.
Everything just crashes, and then it's like people just like whatever, waiting forever, and people just kind of left out. I mean, I understand, I guess.
So the system failed. The system crashed when people were trying to line up online, Freddie?
Yeah. For tons for a lot of breweries, as of late, all these online ticket sales for their bottles have been just epic, like just a madhouse.
So I think it's you get the whole spectrum. You get the brewery who finally figured stuff out this year, and smooth as heck. But then you get the extreme from what the marketing director at Lost Abbey he did an apology kind of release. They went from Eventbrite that failed. They went to brown paper tickets. That failed. And then they ended up having to cancel everything. So it's really weird. I don't know, maybe somebody needs to make a beer-focused website or a platform, because I've always maintained that
dedicated servers.
Yeah. I've always
your startup opportunity, Freddie, to make a online platform for
dedicated
high-speed beer trading.
Yeah,
Freddie, that you have
stocks. I open up at 8.
You have built-in customers with
no trading after 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
How many beers have you had?
Yeah,
I guess I wasn't aware of that, and I'm surprised that the number of people lining up for a beer release, which is, it seems like a lot, but maybe it's 10,000 or 20,000. I mean, a ticket system can typically handle that kind of volume. I'm surprised that that's crashing these established platforms like Eventbrite.
Oh yeah, pummeling them.
Let me mention kind of my journey with Biologic. Freddie's has probably seen me complain about that ad nauseum, but on both sides, there's a physical side where I think it's universal. We were in line. We're in line for 4 hours plus. They didn't give out tickets. People would cut lines and get back in. 100 plus degree weather, getting sunburned and all that stuff. So a lot of people complained, me included, like vocally. I was probably the most douchey about it. I tried not to be douchey, but I was pretty insistent how much I hate it.
Is this the one that you wrote that big rant letter and how your French toast was called later and stuff?
No.
Okay, that's a different one. Okay.
That was like a gastropub.
Never mind. Keep going. Yeah.
That has craft beer, but yeah, Biologic. I mean, I complained. I was like, hey, you know what? Smog City, AleSmith, Stone, when they do releases that necessitate tickets, they do it online. And so Biologic, which to their credit, they moved it to online the next 2 releases later. People complained, but I do feel like a lot of people were happier because
Which release is that? Ground State or like?
So Ground State was the last one, the one that I bitched the most about, and everybody else bitched too. And then after that, it was it might have been Leche. Actually, you're right. Might have been Leche Borracho was the first time
Check me out. Let's make some noise for Freddie in Boston, knowing Biologic's release.
Yeah, for sure. I ended up getting Leche Borracho online, and so I personally was happy.
Yep.
But then on the flip side, you had people who were complaining, and they, there was problems with Eventbrite. I suggested brown paper tickets because I've never had a problem with them because AleSmith uses brown paper tickets, Smug uses brown paper tickets, Stone uses brown paper tickets, but they were saying, nope, we're never going to do that because we had a problem before, which maybe they did. That was before I tried to do it online with them. But I was like, hey, that's fine. Whatever you guys want to do. If you want to do physical, it's your right. Personally, I think it's online, and I think you should go brown paper tickets.
Yep.
A lot of people said, no, brown paper tickets suck. It's all about Eventbrite. But ever since, there's always been a vocal component from people on Facebook saying Eventbrite sucks, Eventbrite sucks, Eventbrite sucks. We hate it. Go back to the physical lines. I imagine no matter what method is used, somebody's going to bitch.
Of course.
Like I said, I bitched about it. Yeah. People probably bitch about the brown paper tickets if they move the brown paper tickets. So it's interesting seeing, people try to adjust, breweries try to adjust to it. I think my only problem with Biologic is that they usually place the blame on customers. They don't necessarily like, hey, we'll take that under advisement. We'll try to do something different or whatever. It's usually like, oh, you guys are doing it wrong, or you guys don't understand the process. That's the only problem I have with Biologic. I love them, but whatever. Anyways,
I think it's probably a phenomenon in the industry that's going to continue to evolve, and people will figure out, a fair and equitable, hopefully efficient way to get these highly sought after beers out to the market. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. We've been on for a little bit over an hour, so good talk. A lot of good kind of industry topics we covered around talking about 6 unique beers, which is always good. So that's it, folks. Thanks very much for listening to these 3 crazy fools talk about beer. Again, don't forget all of our excellent content, which you can find on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, your podcast platform of choice. It's all good stuff. It's all guys that are really passionate about beer, just talking about beer. So that's what we're all about. So, hey, let's raise our glass for the veterans that fought to keep our freedom to drink beer and prosper. So peace out, folks, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cool.
Cheers.